Hello guys, this is BlackPanther again. Nhớ rồi nè, chào phung như trò lưu nè ya. So, my channel here is pretty much is about storytelling and talk about events that happened in the past. Okay. For this video, I'm just gonna take a little time to explain about Hmong people. And I want to talk about a special hero during the Vietnam War or the American CIA conflict with the Vietnamese. So, Hmong people do not come to America for economical reasons, okay? They came here in the 70s all the way to the 90s up to the 2000s. Was because they were involved in the Vietnam War. So Hmong people were from China, from China back in the 1800s, around 1900s, the early 1900s, due to the Civil War in China. As you guys know, the British went to China in 1898 to have the Chinese government to open Hong Kong, the seaport, for British to go there and doing business with China. But China do not want foreigner to enter their country, right? In 1898, the Chinese refused to let the British in. So during that time, the British have a better technology, battleships and guns and cannons and all that stuff, technology. Well, the Chinese were like way behind on technology or any of these war equipments. So the Chinese thought that they could fight the British off from entering China and doing the business. That's called the okay. So they refused to give the port in Hong Kong and Macau to the British. So the British went and the Chinese declare war with the British. So they fought a battle not too long, and in a couple of weeks, the British destroyed all the Chinese battleship, their weapons, their military, disable all the militaries. Now, the Chinese government was so poor and so helpless and during that time. Joey, Arthur, yeah, hello, bro. I'm just giving a little history here, okay, and talk about a little event that happened in the past. So the British want to go in there, and the Chinese fought them, but then they lost the battle to the British. Now, being that they declare war on both sides, fought the battle, the Chinese lost the battle in 1898. So that's another reason, because the British were importing opium into China, and a lot of people got addicted to opium, and then the Chinese government do not want that to happen to these people. So the British went in and did all of that. So they fought the battle, and China lost the war to the British in 1898. And they had no choice but to allow the British to enter China, and they agreed to give Hong Kong to the British for 99 years to occupy Hong Kong, establish that as a British colony or a British territory or British port to do business in and out of China. Okay, so because of this, the Chinese owe a lot of had to pay the British back for what they cost for the battle, and then they lost the battle, the war, so they had to pay the British back. So the British made the Chinese government pay the British a lot of money and taxes. So the Chinese government want to pay the British, but they had no money, so they had to go to the people that live in the citizen, Chinese citizens. Okay, so now they had to raise taxes, collect a lot of money from the people in China to pay the British for the open war that they had with the British. Now the British would go to all over China, and the people that lived there had to suffer. So they made the people pay, actually. So all because the British. Okay, so at that time, the Chinese government would send military or tax collector or government people to go to village, cities, towns, and make the people pay taxes. So if you don't have animals like livestock, there you have to pay what do you call it? Your harvest, like rice, corns, vegetables, whatever you have to give that to the government and give a certain percentage, pretty high. I believe it's more than you can afford it, to the tax collector or the government's, the people that works for the government. Then if you don't have that, they will collect your daughter or your son to be slave and pay for that or sell them. They're taken to a factory or make them slave to pay for that. So Hmong people at the time, they were in China. They will not even exist in Vietnam, Laos, or Thailand. So the Hmong people were in China at the time. Although they fought so much, many battles with the Chinese long time ago, 2,500 years ago. And they lost all their land, and their countries, their territory, and turned into the Chinese government. But they get to live as peasants, farmers, nomads within China, in the remote mountain, where they cannot live like normal citizens. Even though they're there, they still have to pay taxes. So when the Chinese government will do all these things, and the people are so suffering, they suffer a lot beyond imaginable. So there are so many minority that live in China. They cannot, they can't go on living their life in the way the Chinese government is forcing them to do. That's why they turn around and they rebel against the Chinese government. And there was a civil war that broke out in 1898. And a lot of the Hmong people that do not get killed, were scared. So they fled to like northern Vietnam, northern Laos, and northern Thailand. So by 1918, 1920, they were living in the mountains of Laos and Vietnam. The Highlanders, call them the Highlanders, occupy the highlands. And they are living there until the 1920, when the French colonial came to Southeast Asia and tried to take over all those Southeast Asian countries. Okay, so Hmong people were fighting with the French. It's called the French Indochina War, and many people died during that time. The French were, whoever do not obey the French government or the French colony occupy over there, they will take you, arrest you, chop your heads off, kill your whole family. So all that going on until Ho Chi Minh came along and kicked the French out of Vietnam. The Americans stepped in after that. So Americans were fighting were helping the South Vietnamese against the North Vietnamese, which was the Ho Chi Minh, Viet Cong, Viet Minhs, the Vietnamese. North and South Civil War in Vietnam. So Hmong people were living in Laos because the war was so intense that American tried to take over North Vietnam, but there was a secret trail they call the Ho Chi Minh Trail that would cross from North Vietnam to Laos, back to South Vietnam. The border in North and South was all like right now in North Korea and South Korea. So the Vietnamese, it was hard for them to send troops and supplies to their comrades down already in South Vietnam. So they intend to they reroute their travel through Laos, through northern Laos, crossing half of Laos and go to South Vietnam. It's called the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Now the Ho Chi Minh Trail will send soldiers, supplies, guns, weapons, food, medicines to the comrades down there. At the time, Laos was declared neutral. They do not want to be part of any of this war. Hmong people live in the mountain of Laos. So they were closer to the northern Laos where the Ho Chi Minh Trail began, and then end up in South Vietnam. So what happened was Belair, the American CIA general, who was in charge of the American CIA Secret Service, wanted to stop. His job was to go to Laos, start a guerrilla unit, secret mission to stop the Ho Chi Minh Trail. So the North Vietnamese will not send troops to South Vietnam or supplies, so they can win the war. So the CIA went to Laos secretly and go meet. They met with General Vang Pao because during the French Indochina War, during that time, General Vang Pao was part of the ordeal with the French. They knew who General Vang Pao was. So the French general told the CIA to go and talk to Vang Pao. Maybe Vang Pao can help the American stop the Ho Chi Minh Trial. Okay. So when the CIA, Mr. Belair, met with General Vang Pao, they had an agreement that Belair would supply weapons, food, medicines to Vang Pao, and the Vang Pao will supply manpower like soldiers. He will lead his gorilla. He will turn his men into gorillas, Hmong men in the mountain to gorilla, and American CIA will be training them how to handle their weapons, how to use their guns, weapons, all that. So, my friends, that's how the Hmong people and the CIA and Americans started their relationship back in the 1950s. Okay? And this agreement was agreed between them. Okay, so at the time, the Vang Pao was also mentioned that what happened if we don't win the war with the Vietnamese and you guys take off, what about my people? And I believe they have an agreement that the CIA told Vang Pao that if one day we lost the war, we lose the war, and then we had to withdraw all the way back to the U.S., we will take your people. But according to a legend, a story, and records, the CIA and America only agree on the Vang Pao soldiers, the 3,500 guerrilla soldiers that were Vang Pao's command. Okay, not the civilian, not all the people. So it ended up in the end. Up that the U.S. had to pull back out of Vietnam and went back home. They went back home, and Vang Pao took his 3,500 strong. They fled to Thailand, and they were promised to go to the U.S. But because this war has caused so many chaos in Laos, it has turned mother against son, son against father, brother against brother. It turned people to take sides. Some will go to the communists, some will remain as Vang Pao's royalties. So after Vang Pao left with his 3,100 soldiers and their family members, all the Hmong people were left behind were persecuted. They were taken to concentration camp. They were killed left and right. All these things going on. Okay, that's why the Hmong people, the regular citizens, also fled to Thailand as refugees. This is how Hmong people got to America. They did not come here as social, economic, reasons. They came here as a refugee because American went to Laos, secretly started this secret mission, and the South Vietnamese and North Vietnamese war, which America, got involved, and it caused a problem in these areas where these people cannot live their normal life anymore. So they turned into refugee, and now it became a conflict, a problem for the U.S. So in like 1976, 77, 78, America did not know anything about these Hmong people. They only knew about Vietnamese, Japanese, Chinese, and other people. And suddenly all these Hmong people were refugees living in Thailand in a camp. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of them. So, United Nations try to find a place for these people to go. The U.S. denied their entry to the United States because at the time, America did not want any refugee over here. But thanks to the Vang Pao's friends like CIA, the ex-CIAs, those people that went to Laos to fight the Vietnamese, fight the Viet Congs, to fight the Vietnamese, they came back to the U.S. and they knew they lived with the Hmong people in the mountain for so long, over almost 20 years, in and out, and they saw the suffering of the people. So a lot of these ex-CIA or secret American militaries, they gave up, they came back to the U.S. and they gave up their military life and they became protester politicians, and they went to Washington D.C. and they bring this issue up that it was America that caused the problem to these among this group of people that live in the mountain, which had nothing to do with the war, but because America got involved on the CIA secret mission, turned them into enemies of the state, which they were against their own people. And now America had to take them in as refugees. So with all these lobbying, many of the ex-CIA went to DC to lobby against the government, keep pushing it. That's why finally in 1978 or 79, the America opened the door for Hmong people to come here to live as a refugee or a citizen later on because they had nowhere else to go. Okay? Sheena Lau, hello, brother. Yes, hi. So I'm just giving a little quick for what I know or what I learned, the whole ordeal, why Hmong people live in the USA. Okay, we're not here by choice. We're actually here by force, we're here because America. We're here because the Americans government, okay? So we do not come here as like other group of people, other group of Asians that came here for economical reasons, for a better life, for something like that. We came here because we had no choice, either go or die at the time in the 70s. Because the CIA went to Laos and had these Hmong people do something that they were not supposed to do. And that's why everybody turned against everybody. Okay, so Hmong people are here today and to live and to be part of the USA, part of the United States, part of the citizen here. Most majority probably Sheena Lau says yes, because the royal Lao king green light our extermination. Yes. The Lao king was a pussy. Okay? The royal Lao king, a pussy. It's a pussy cat. Scary cat. He opens the green light for the Vietnamese, the Viet Cong, the Carbonists, the Red, to exterminating the Hmong people. That's why him and Tu Bi Li Fong, they both being exterminated also. They were taken to a concentration camp and worked as a slave till their death. Anyway, I want to take this time to read a little short passage, okay? I want to talk, I have a couple TikTok video about Lilu. Lilu, okay? Hmong is Lilu or Lilu if you would pronounce it English. So think of this way: Lilu is part of the brother was a Robert Ely. Robert Ely, right? At my work, there's a white dude named he has a last name Lee, Lee. Okay. I always joke with him that so you are Robert Ely's blood descendant, huh? Okay. For those of you who might not know what who Robert Ely is or was, anybody know Robert Ely? Robert E. Lee. Yeah, Sheena Lau said Lilu is an ace. Yeah, he's a Hmong hero. He was the best of the best T28 fighter in the world, I believe. Among men. So Robert E. Lee was the president of the southern states, right? And Abraham Lincoln was the president of the North during the American Civil War, right? So you guys know who Robert E. Lee is. He was a Confederate president flag in the southern states. Yeah, I know what ace means, yes. I know what ace means, Sheena. If you're ace, you're like the best pilot, fighter in the, up in the air. Yeah, so Lilu was a pilot, a Hmong pilot. He had a short 6 month or to a year training in Udon Thani, Thailand, with American pilot trainers. American. There's a program that was given to the Royal Laos people, pilots, and then some Hmong men also were acquired to go and train over there and to fly the T28. So Lilu was a high school teacher in the mountain, and he was recruited to be part of the pilot. The group among pilot were trained at Udon Thani during that time, and they call him was like the best of the best. He was like the die hard. He was like kamikaze type fighters. Okay, so I want to take this time and read a little passage here that on this book. Lilu was known by a lot of the Ravens pilots. If you guys do know, at the time there was a group of pilots called the Ravens. They were living with the Hmong people in Longqing in the mountain, and they flew those little spot planes. It's called Sipomai in Laos, but it's called the spot planes. So what they do is those little planes, they'll fly around the area. It's called probably reconnaissance airplane. They fly high and then they spot like a group of Vietnamese or Viet Cong or somewhere, a group of soldiers that were traveling or whatever, were base or were ready down there on the ground. So this little plane will communicate to the F-14, F-16 in Thailand, Udon Thani. So the pilot will fly from there and draw this big bombs to these Vietnamese or whatever they spot. Okay, so that was the Ravens' job. They were secret pilots, uh, kind of more like private pilots. Nobody knew them about, but only they're taken straight from Thailand. When they left the U.S., nobody know where they went. So like you if you one of those pilots live in the U.S. at the time, in the middle of the night you just got a phone call and you just took out your wife, your family, your kids don't even know where you went because so secret. And they will go to a special place and they're flown to the mountain allows them to fly these little airplanes because they're the Ravens, okay? So they knew the Hmong people because they live along the Hmong people. They eat what the Hmong people eat. They drink. I don't know, maybe they sleep with the Hmong girl over there too, right? A Lao girl, whatever. But I want to read a little passage here about Lilu, what an American friend or pilot or teacher said about Lilu, okay? His name is Burr Smith. Burr Smith. Here's what he said when Lily's plane was shot down in Mương Soi in Laos. Mương Soi. The day that his plane got shot down by a 12.5 millimeter cannon, 12.7. His plane was shot down. His T28 was shot down by a 12.7 millimeter anti-aircraft gun from the North Vietnamese units. Okay. So the day that his plane got shot down, as legends tell, his plane blew out to pieces, and his body also blew out to pieces. And when Vang Pao and his military then went there, they tried to collect his body. They only got a little piece of his clothes and his body part and made a funeral out of it. Okay? So his plane was fighting. During that time in Mương Soi, there was Chinese soldiers, Viet Cong, Vietnamese, they're all together, join union because they want to come and conquer that area where they have this tower, this communication tower, because they want to overrun the Vang Pao units over there. Okay, so it was so intense. So they called for Lilu to go and drop bombs. So when he went, he flew too low, and that's why he got hit by the Vietnamese 12.7 Russian-made anti-aircraft gun. Okay? And then his plane got shot down. So this is what Burr Smith said. And then it happened, the blackest of black days yesterday. Burr Smith wrote to his wife, Mary Jane, on July 12, Lilu, the last and the best of the male pilots, and incidentally, the bravest human being I have ever known, was shot down and killed before my eyes. VP, meaning Vang Pao, was with me, and he broke down immediately in sadness and despair. Lily was his cousin, but in the male costume was also his son and my brother. The plane passed over our heads on fire and crashed a few hundred yards from our position. Only 2 days earlier, Burr Smith had chat with the pilot for flying too low. On one pass, he was so close to the ground that when he dropped the bombs, they failed to explode. On the day he was shot down, he had been bombing and strafing the enemy at Mương Soi, flying low as usual, and was pulling off a run in his habitual, slow, and casual manners. When a 12.7 millimeter anti-aircraft gun opened up and raked the plane down one side, Bert Smith, who had been in contact with him over the radio, screamed that his plane was afire and Lilu should bail out, but there was no answer. The plane flew a few hundred yards and crashed into the ground in a ball of fire. As it exploded, the Vietnamese gunners fired red victory rockets from their positions, celebrating the death of one of their most feared enemies. There was never any mistaking Lilu's style of flying, and the gunners always worked extra hard to hit him. Okay? So for those of you who are listening here or join me on this section right here, I'm just refreshing or reading a passage from the book called the Ravens, where all this, it was written by all these Americans who were the Ravens, who lived in the mountain in Longqiang, were Hmong people who eat, who fight, who sleep together as brothers in blood, brothers, you know. This is really sad, a very sad story. See, he died. This is how Lilu died. Okay. So for those of you who didn't know, I did a couple of TikTok about Lilu on my TikTok channel about Lilu and the truth about him. Okay, so hopefully this one here get your blood flowing. That a hero he was, and still a hero today to the Hmong people. Today I see a lot of Hmong people go pick somebody like Sunisa or somebody like some of these low budget little Hmong actor and call them pae or call them hero. I just not agree with it. Somebody like Lilu, I am very admiring and respect him as a hero because he saved a lot of lives. He was a fierce pilot to the Viet Cong or Vietnamese at the time. And he flew over, they said over 2,500 combat missions just for that. Okay? Hopefully this was something that open you guys' minds, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna end right here. It's a short 38 minutes passage, but hopefully you guys, English speaker who follow me here, know what Hmong peoples are, and you don't get confused with Vietnamese, Chinese, Laotian, Thai, or Japanese, or all the Asian race. Okay? We were the original people probably in northern China. If you were to go back, if you were to go to like the far east, like Siberia, go to like northeast China, that's where the Hmong people were originated. Okay? There's the people there that have the facial structure represent Hmong people. But because war and battles and war, and because of that, kingdoms against kingdoms, migrations cause all of us to be all over the world. I mean, look at today. We all end up in America. Hmong people are now in China. About 16 million remain in China. They're in Vietnam. They're in Laos. They're in Burma or Myanmar. They're in Thailand. They're in France. They're in Guyana. They're in South America. They're in Canada. They're in America. They're in the Netherlands. and then some other European countries. Okay, we are over the world because migration due to wars, misplacement. Okay, we are pretty loyalty people. So we and then they're also very easy for other people to infiltrate and do damage to us. But tell you that we're not Chinese, we're not Vietnamese, we're not Laotian, we're not Filipino, we're not Malaysian, we're not Indonesian, we're not Thai, we're not Japanese. So don't get confused with us. Okay? You gotta know the food we eat, the language we speak, the clothes we wear. These are the three things that and the religion we practice. So these are the four things you must know before you determine who that person is, okay? What that group of people is. So, America, because America, we came here. It has nothing to do with that we came here intentionally. We're not here for economical reasons like other countries, like other Asian peoples. Like these Chinese people at the border in Mexico, like 40,000 strong, try to come to the U.S. for economic reasons. Okay? So I'm gonna end right here. Thank you for joining me, Sheena and some of you guys. I'm not gonna translate this in Hmong, so hopefully all you guys watching me, English speaker, and you understand what I'm saying here already. Okay? We'll see you next time. Another video. Bye.